Hello, guys.
Hello.
Welcome
Hi.
to the session. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Arif.
We have quite a bit of audience here.
Okay, great.
Welcome, everyone who has taken some time to join us. Let's wait few more minutes. I see a long queue, so let them all get in, and then we'll start. Peter, I think we
Yeah,
can slowly start the discussion. There are
sure.
other people are joining, and then welcome
Yeah,
everyone.
sure.
This is a virtual seminar where we take you through some of the greatest innovation that the business has developed for you. And this is where I think we are taking our business textile operations to the next level, because the way it has been moving on, the challenges we are facing, the global supply chain disruptions and everything, all those things I think require new solutions. The way we have been working previously, I think it's time to step up. So today we will talk about how we are going to use our products to help you with your own agility and with your production. I am Arif. I am the sales director from Bangladesh. With me, I have Peter. He is the senior solution
Hello.
consulting manager for Southeast Asia. Peter, you would like to take a minute?
Hello. Hello. Hi. I take care of solution consulting team in Southeast Asia, and I was with Fast React since 2008. So I've been in the apparel industry with the software industry for a long time. Right. So very glad to be here. Gary.
Yeah. So today we will talk about these agendas. We'll talk about what we do. I mean, I know a lot of you already know us, and we have you have a good understanding about our products and everything. What are the challenges that we see needs immediate addressing, and how we want to fight those challenges? And then we will also take you through the capabilities of the product that we call Fast React Plan, how it's going to help you with your supply chain, vertical planning, vertical manufacturing, and then we will share some of the customer successes. During this entire presentation, if you have any question, there is a Q&A tab on the screen. Just write it there. We will take the questions right after the presentation ends. Hopefully it's all clear. Let's dive in. Course is there for almost 270 years. I think everyone who has joined us today has used our swing thread. There's a good chance you have also used or had any of the clothes that you bought had our swing thread. So we are the pioneer in this industry. We have been there for a long period of time. We have seen lots and ups and downs. So there is no better company equipped with the idea to help people move through the transformation, because we ourselves have succeeded doing it. So right now, the most important business where I think course is focusing on is digital. We are course digital. Peter, next slide, please. We are the industry experts, but we work in the fashion technology scope. We have some of the best technical minds where we are building products for next generation with an experience of last 30 years. So that's a great combination in terms of our expertise, our vision, and we do enjoy a lot of trust because the brand Coats has delivered year and year and year. Course, Peter Nestler, please. Yeah, so this is where I want to spend some time. So these are the intelligence and platform that we are building. I think we had a great start with few of the products: GST Cost, Fast Track Plan, Fast Track Fabric. These are the products we have been offering to the market for last more than a decade, I guess. Now we are now introducing newer tools like GST Quest. There are other lot of tools that we have. We're mostly a SaaS business, so we are looking into the market and getting their response on all the platforms possible. Today we will talk about our solution for supply chain, which is Fast Track Plan. This is a supply chain control tower for your production planning, your scheduling, your all the critical path activities that you do. And now historically, Fast Track Plan has been used in the cut and sew section of apparel. People think the operation that starts in cutting room ends at the finishing room is the only thing Fast Track Plan can do, which I think we are guilty of also because we didn't take the industry to the next level. But Fast Track Plan actually has the capability to manage your entire supply chain. The moment you onboard yarn for knitting, dyeing, even some people who are doing spinning, Fast Track Plan can help you there. How? That is what will be shown by my good colleague Peter. Peter, over to you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Arif, for sharing codes digital and sharing some of the key things about what we're going to be showing today. So, all right. So, before we get into the heart of why we are all here today, right? Before I show you what Fast React Plan can do, I just want to spend a moment on something, every textiles or every apparel manufacturers leader like you in this webinar will recognize. The problem is not new. I think, yeah, we all know that these problems are not new. These problems are just getting more and more expensive nowadays, right? Expensive in terms of the cost of doing nothing, the cost of using the right tools, and all this is getting more and more expensive every day, right? So imagine, right? Every season's factories or manufacturer like yours are getting asked to do more, right? Your buyer is keep giving you more and more responsibilities in terms of, you have to deal with so many buyers at the same time. You have to deal with tighter, shorter lead time, lower tolerance for errors. And yet, the tool that most of manufacturers use to manage all of this complexity haven't really fundamentally changed in the past 10, 15 years. A lot of you are still using spreadsheet. Some are using partial spreadsheet with ERP or something else. But you know, so I think these are all key things, key problems that we've been talking. So let me show you exactly what I mean on the next slide. Right. So industry pain point, right, and challenges are more or less, same in a lot of companies, manufacturers. The first one that we want to talk about is the disconnected planning and scheduling. Right? We all know how complex uh, textiles and apparel can get to when you have to connect so many different processes together. So I'm sure a lot of you are still like what I say. A lot of you are still managing all these production scheduling in Excel. Probably not one Excel, maybe 10, 20s. I've seen people who's open an Excel and it just take 10 minutes to open one Excel because there are so many formulas, there are so many connections in there, right? So, and when something change, imagine, right? When something change, when your buyer change deliveries, when the machine breakdowns, so your machine bottleneck, machine downtime, when anything change, how long does it take to replan, right? I think in most cases, your replanning process can take hours. Some can take days to do 3 different scenario planning. It may take 2 days before you can reply back to your buyer or to your management. So during that time of when you are still trying to adjust your plan, right? What will happen? The wrong orders are being cut, the wrong fabric is being loaded, and the production floor is running on yesterday's plan. Right? Again, these are not people problem. This is a tool problem, right? So machine bottleneck, high inventories, long lead time, all these are very common pain point that everyone is facing, right? And here is what typically happen. The planning team has one file, right? Lack of one version of the tool. You have got so many spreadsheets. The planning team have one file, the merchandising has another, the shop floor supervisor probably print out the plan from last week, and then something went wrong, and it always does, right? Everyone is looking at different numbers. The wrong orders are getting priorities, buyer get the wrong answer, and the cost of it is show up, it's costing a lot of money, right? High material inventory. You're bringing your materials in the warehouse, but it's not going to use in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or even a month. So it stay there in the warehouse, means your cash being tied up, right? And one of the most important is also managing and controlling of your critical path management, right? With your technical team, your merchandisers, marketing team, pre-production team, sampling room, all these connected. They are work in silos. So these are all key pains and challenge that we have seen, whether it's textile manufacturers or whether it's apparel manufacturers or both, right? Okay. Now, so what does the solution look like? I mean, you all must be thinking I'm telling all these pain and challenges. These are all key common one, right? However, what are the solutions? So this is where I want to share something that I think it will genuinely surprise many of you. Like what Arif was saying, when most people hear about fast react plan or fast react in the past, they think that it's it's a production planning tool for the sewing floor. It only manages the sewing line for apparel manufacturer only. Yes, absolutely. That is our core strength. However, over the past years, what we have been building goes far beyond the sewing line. Okay, so it's not only the sewing line. Fast React Plan now can connect the entire supply chain from textiles manufacturing all the way to apparel, all the way to shipment. So it's an end-to-end in one system. Let me show you what that actually means in practice. Okay, so first thing is we have put Fast React Plan on our cloud, right? We used to be saying Fast React Plan is only on-prem. I need to buy a server. It's all going to be on intranet. Now we have put FRP, Fast React Plan, on our cloud hosted. And not only that, okay, we are looking at this from, let me just open it. So look at this architecture for a moment. Right? We are looking at this. On the first level, we have textile planning. The textile planning can start from yarn requirement, where the yarn requirement come from. If the requirement of yarn will come from your knitting plan. So where you plan your knitting, it will then generate a requirement for yarn. And then it goes into dyeing. We are planning into the dyeing vessels. We look at different dyeing colors. We look at the chemicals and go into some of your fabric will need to be printed. So we look at printing machine in terms of fabric printing, then goes into washing and finishing. And the second level, of course, we all know that Fast React Plan can do the cutting plan, embellishment plan, sewing, washing, packing, and shipment. So these are not separate systems anymore. These are not separate systems talking to each other through manual data transfer. This is one connected planning engine. So imagine opening one Fast React and you can see all of this plan in one system. So it's covering two layers, right? One is the textile planning layer, and then the apparel planning layer. So on top of that, we also apply automatic planning. So we can do automatic planning on these machines, on this sewing line as well. Right? Below that, we do material connection. So the connector that make all of this possible is the material control. What do you need for your knitting? You need yarn, right? In terms of dyeing, you will need your you will need the chemical, right? For embellishment, for cutting, all these have their own material requirement. So what this material control means is connecting with your ERP, which is the supply, comparing with the demand and give you an analysis, real-time tracking of your material availability versus when the plant need these materials. So the moment there is a shortfall or your ETA from your supplier has changed, Fast React will highlight, and then it will pop up and then give you an alert to say that, oh, you need to do something with this plan. The material is going to be delayed for 3 days. You need to move your plan. You need to check whether your cutting department can adjust their plan, right? So all this will be in one system. Again, from textiles to apparel to shipment, one system, real time, fully connected. This is what we call by supply. This is what digital supply chain looks like in practice. Yeah. So again, just to emphasize, we are looking at the plan for all this scheduling, and not only for sewing and stitching. Right? Now, let me go one level deeper because I want you to see that this is not just a generic planning tool that has been repurposed for textile. This solution was designed specifically for how textile manufacturing actually work, right? So we will start with yarn dyeing, right? You buy your grayish yarn. Sometimes you will do your own yarn dyeing, or if you buy complete yarn dye, that will be your material requirement. So we look at color lot, we look at dye recipe management, batch sequencing in terms of dyeing. You go into the fabric knitting. If you look at your machine gauges, your frame allocation, beam planning, knitting speed, target, all this will be planned. So we are looking at the total overall capacity per machine gauge, per brand, or and then we look at dyeing. You know how complicated dyeing can get into, right? We need to look at different dye lots. We need to look at dye batches. So all this tracking of the color lot tracking, dye recipe management. Anyone who has managed a dye house would know that sequencing of all this really matter a lot. The wrong shade go into the wrong machine, then what you will be looking at is a rework. There'll be a lot of waste, there'll be a lot of delay shipment. So Fast React will help to ensure that there's a right sequence in there in the plan for the next dye batch. Could be a few days. When you go to dye lot, it could be a few months, right? Depending on the orders that you have. So this, before a problem happens, the system will flag it. This is the difference between being reactive and proactive management. Okay. Then we go into printing. If you want to plan your printing as well, right? We go into washing. Some materials need to go into the washing, okay, and finishing. So again, we look at all these processes in terms of your textiles process. Yeah. So start from yarn dye until when you ship out your fabric. Okay. So these are all the key processes that we are covering. So so that when you get this plan properly, your downstream of your apparel requirement will know when are these materials, when are these fabric going to arrive to my factory for cutting to start. Okay. Now we've covered the breadth, the end-to-end coverage from textile to the shipment. Now I want to talk about something that I know every business leader like yours, what is the actual business value, right? Not theory. It's real, it's measurable, quantifiable outcome that our customer have really get from using our system. Okay. And this ROI, this outcome you will get in weeks, not in years. It can be 2 months, 3 months, depending on how quick you can start using the system. Okay. So there are a few key points in terms of measurable business value that I would like to share with you today. So let me walk through each one and let me give you the context that makes this number meaningful. All right. So if we go into number one, which is scheduling efficiency. So meaning simple terms is your planning efficiency, right? So your planning time. So definitely with supply chain planning, production planning tool like Fast React Plan, you'll be able to reduce your manual plan, right? You reduce your manual plan by 60 to 70%. That's what we have proven with some of our customers. The saving that you will get per planner per year is going to be huge. You know, they can use their time, this time saving that they have to go and do other work, right? They can go and do analysis, they can fix the exception, they can use the time to talk to the buyer, not on the manual planning, not on the data entry. This final financial implication is going to be huge. All right, pillar number two, machine utilization. We know that textiles, dyeing, knitting machine, weaving machine, all these are key things are how you utilize your machine. So imagine if you can increase your machine utilization by 8 to 10% or even 15%, not because of, machines sit idle for significant period is not good, right? We know that. Not because of breakdown, but because of the scheduling gap, poor sequencing, late material handover, unplanned downtime from scheduling, right? From rescheduling. So this 8 to 15% uplift of your machine utilization can actually vary to about 50 to 100 Ks approx per year. Right? Imagine how this will save to your company. The third one, the on-time delivery. This is quite again another common one. And why we still putting this, because we know that fabric deliveries, there's always an argument between the fabric delivery, the supplier with the apparel manufacturers, you always give me the fabric late, So I think one thing that we can help here as well is to improve the on-time delivery, from at least 75 to 90 or 85%, right? And you know that what buyer care most is about the delivery, right? And the one that protect your relationship with the buyer. Right? So every late delivery can carry a cost, air freight, buyer penalty, chargeback, and most damaging of all is the trust that you're having with your buyer. So each late order can cost what, 8,000, 15,000. It can cost a lot. So, for air freight or something. Okay, last but not least, the last one is the working capital. This is another one which is very important for, especially when you are dealing with big quantity of materials, your yarn, grace, fabric, waiting there to do dyeing. So reduce your raw material buffer stock by 25 to 35%. This is the number that CFO care about. When you have real-time material supply chain versus demand availability, you stop overbuying. You only buy what you need in the next 2 weeks or something. Then you stop buying safety stock. You don't want to be buying there and put your material there and say, just in case they need them. We don't need that anymore if we have a good plan. Okay, so you free up your capital that is currently sitting in a warehouse, right? About 80K to 200, per factory per year. This is the cash back into your business. So time saving on planning, machine utilization improvement, on-time delivery improvement, working capital release, your full investment return on this is going to be huge. The ROI on this is going to take only 6 to 9 months, a year max. Yeah, in terms. Yeah. Okay. So now let me show you the engine behind those results. So Fast React is built on 6 integrated capability module, macro planning. We all know that when customer book your fabric, they usually give you forecast orders for the next 6 months, 8 months, or even a year. Right? So you know that you're going to be knitting this grace fabric for the next 12 months. Right? So you need a good macro planning. rolling over to what, a year. So I do have customers who plan their knitting for a year, including confirm and forecast orders. Yeah. And then we have material planning, as I explained. We have machine scheduling, right? It's a semi-automatic machine level Gantt chart scheduling with drag and drop functionalities. Right? We can also look at automated planning as well. And one of the most important is the vertical planning. Yeah. So vertical planning end-to-end process. So this is the module that connect textiles to the apparel. So imagine a factory planner in the apparel factory knowing where is my materials, what is my material status sitting on at the moment. Is it going to be delayed? Is it going to be early, so that I can replan my garment, my apparel according to that. So there will be a link, there will be a warning here and there to say that, if any of the steps get delayed, the system immediately show you the knock-on effect on the next step and so on. Okay. And then critical part, like I said, if you integrate your buyer, time and action, production visibilities, your WIP information will be there. We have also introduced API integration with your external system to Fast React Plan recently. So Fast React Plan is now supporting API interfacing with ERP, with your RFID system, scanning system, MES system. Right, we are able to do that now. Okay. Right, so you see 6 module, one connected system from capacity forecast to shipment confirmation. Every step can be planned, tracked, and optimized. Right? Now, sorry. Okay. Last but not least here, right, we've got, again, before I close my section in terms of the detail of what Fast React Plan is, how do we get the end-to-end connection? It's also something that take everything we have discussed, the connectivity, the real-time visibility, the integrated model, and one more dimension, the intelligent, or what you call the AI of it. How do we plug in AI into this? We're starting to do several programs and several projects with AI coming this year. One of the first one that we have done recently is this AI dashboard, or it's like we call it AI analytics. Right, so all of that information sitting in one system now, one big fast React system, having all the information there. It's very powerful. How are we going to make use of this information properly? So we have the KPI dashboard, which is going to be instant on your system. You can design your own dashboard, right? And this, every time you go into the system, you will see those key KPI that you want to look on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. We also have what we call an instant answer, where you can type in. It's like a prompt. It's like AI prompt. I will show you a video afterwards, where you can get instant insight on what data. Right? Imagine sitting in front of buyer or sitting in a big meeting room and say, oh, I need to know a status of these orders. I need to know the status of these orders of that particular month for that particular style. So where can I get it? So instead of searching on Excel and everything, you can just ask from AI. Okay. So let me go into that very quickly. Right. I will show you a video, right, that show this instant answer. Okay, this is what we call AI analytics capability. Okay, so what you're seeing here is a developed dashboard according to customer requirement, where you can, of course, you can design this. We will design this according to your requirement. You may want to look at late orders. You may want to look at orders by product type. You may want to look at efficiencies, plan efficiencies, on-time delivery performance, or anything on here. We can design this according to that. Okay, then what it will show, as well as I told you earlier, is we plug in the Ask Code Digital, or the AI part of it, where you can simply type in what you want to know. For example, this example I'm showing here is try to show me all late orders. I want to see only the late quantities. And because I've got 5 factories around in Asia, so I want to see all these late orders sitting on fast react system, displaying them by factory. I want to see them by factories, whether it's in Dhaka, whether it's in Ho Chi Minh or in Hanoi, but tell me also by style type or the product type. So when you type in this prompt, system will go into fast react, check all this information, and start giving you what you want to see. Yeah, so it's checking all the data sets. Look, and if you have all this connected operation, imagine what information you can get from this system. So here's the breakdown of all the late orders with late quantities. You can see it by Excel. You can also see it by graphical method. See it back so quick, right? Within 30 seconds, it's showing you all the information. You can drill down into each part and say, oh, I want to look at it by style. I want to look at it by customer. So you can very quickly drill down into each bar there, and then it will show you that, okay, there are two styles here that are going to be laid for Bangalore jacket. Yeah, so see, right? Because we now have a big fast react system where everything is connected. So we're plugging in AI there where you can search and find dashboard where you can access anywhere because fast react is now on the cloud. Okay. All right, Arif. I'm gonna pass back to you for the next part. Sorry, let me stop this again. Okay.
Thank you so much, Peter. It was a wonderful display of innovations and all the good things that you said. I think it's time to replicate that in our real life. So the biggest problem with our today's process is that sometimes I think we also look for validation of these things. So we understand that dilemma, and we wanted to share some of the validation from our customers because there are people who were adventurous, who were brave, who took the decision to implement fast track plan in their textile unit ahead of the time, I would say, because today we have lots and lots of technology available with us. We have AI, we have ML, we have large language models. We can do a lot of good things. 5 years back, things were different. But still, there were people who thought we will make the system usable for us, and they have reaped the benefit. So let me share some of the examples of that. So the first up, Ocean Lanka is a Chinese investment based out of Sri Lanka, one of the finest textile manufacturer there. They are working for Adidas, Puma, Gap, and some of the machines they have, my God. And those state of the art machine are actually what has driven them on this, because they were like, we have invested so much on these machines. We wanted to get the best out of it. We cannot afford to put it in a situation where we do not have the visibility what's coming next. So they have adopted fast react plan. There were lots of changes they had to do. Some places we tweaked, maximum places they had to adjust their system to adapt fast react plan, and they got the benefit. After, I think within 12 to 16 months, I think this results is after 16 months, they saw a productivity rise of 20%. Their machine capacity utilization were increased by 33%. Their bottleneck machine broken down, machine breakdown time has reduced to another 3%, I think. And the biggest change that it brought is their WIP. See, WIP is good for business, but sometimes it also does a lot of damage. So a business which is moving very fast, WIP actually holds them back. In Ocean Lanka, because they have adopted fast track plan in every possible processes, and all those processes are linked, their WIP, their operational efficiency, their visibility to any upcoming bottlenecks were pretty fast. And we have also added their MD's endorsement here. It was great to have his confidence, and then it was even greater to deliver on that. Let's take another case, Peter. So there are other customers who has seen the benefit of it. It helped them with their speed, it helped them with their cost, and something everyone, especially in the South and Southeast Asia part of the world, we are struggling with on time delivery. Fast Track Plan has helped customers across the board. So, the next upcoming world will depend on a lot how fast you can turn around, how efficient you can become, how less wastage you are making. Because wastage is a cost, and that cost is preventable. And the only way to battle this is to use fast track plan, because that is what going to help us. Peter, next slide, please. Uh, I think we missed. Yes. So ROI. Now ROI is actually a mythical term, as I keep talking about, because return on investment doesn't depend on investment. Return on investment depends on the efforts. Return on investment depends on the people who are using it, how well they are using it, and how efficiently they are managing their system. I have seen people who think this they are following fast track plan religiously, and ROI has given them many, many times for fast track plan. But even if we consider a conservative ROI in a 3 years investment period, because it's SaaS and our initial contract is for 3 years, we see around 200%. So whatever money invested, it should be able to return back more than 200% to the customers. Now, if the adoption is better, the follow up and usage is tremendous, our calculation says it can go up to 626%. That means 6 times over the investment was made. Now, these are all possible. These are mathematical terms. The customers that I've shared few minutes back, they have achieved this number. Now, number might be variable here and there, but what is confirmed that it will definitely bring some positive outcome for the businesses. And it doesn't take a lot of time to see these changes. As per our calculation and our experience, it needs 12 months. From 6 months onward, you will see there will be a lot of good changes happening to your business, and the investments you have made have started coming back. And from 12 months period, I think the entire ROI will be visible to your uh, finance guys, to the decision makers, to the C-suite. So this is a case which is proven, which has its own merit, and I believe this is something we should all be able to achieve. Peter, next slide, please. So these are some of the customers who are using fast track plant in different section of their supply chain, and these are some of the biggest names also. So when you talk about the vastness of fast track plan, I would like to say that there are I think it's almost 300,000 lines today. 300,000. Let that number sit in. They're using fast track plan to manage their production. They're using fast track plan to stitch those garments. So fast track plan. Yeah, yeah. Next slide, please, Peter. So this is going to be our engagement portfolio. After this webinar, we will share the communication links and everything. Please reach out to us or our marketing team. Then the next step will be we will form a team to have an initial discovery where we will understand your pain. We'll do the pain chain analysis, how you do your business as of today. We'll figure out the gaps and we'll understand what to be implemented. Based on those understanding, we will take you through a demo where we will show you some real life scenarios of your factory, how it can help you. And then based on the demo, we will show you the business benefits, how this is going to impact on your profitability. At the end of the day, profit should lead and surpass everything else. And once you are agreed on these business benefits, that whatever we are showing you, the changes that we are promising is valid and this will help you get your objectives clear, then we'll go for some solution blueprinting and commercials. So these things will take around 60 days in our mind. So if we start tomorrow, we should be able to deliver it within next 60 months, next 60 days. That means 2 months. Peter, do you think 2 months is a good time?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
approximately. Yeah,
Again, because speed is important.
Mm.
Peter, I think we have come close to our session.
Yeah.
Any last words, Peter? Otherwise, we can take some questions.
No, I think like what I was mentioning, I think even you mentioned in the early in the early time that everyone thought that fast react is only doing for the sewing. Now everyone understand that we are actually doing an end-to-end connectivities for all processes. Again, you don't have to plan all 12 processes or 15 processes that I was talking about. You can pick and choose the one that you have the biggest headache. You can start planning with knitting, dyeing, and then cutting, sewing. There could be four key processes that everyone face problem with, and then all other small process or non-planned processes can still be in the system, and you can still see the WIP and everything. So, you know, the key is connected, it's flexible for setting up, and definitely we will go and understand what are your key challenges and pains before we actually give you the right solution. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's
Peter,
now.
I mean, the questions are like flooding in. Guys,
Okay.
I'm sorry in advance because we will not be able to take all the questions because of some time crunch, but let me pick some up really good questions. Peter,
Okay.
there's a question that I see. What visibility can planners get into swing line capacity and potential bottlenecks before they affect shipment schedules? Well, I mean, that question is more related to the swing plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
So,
as I think,
yeah.
I mean, in terms of visibility, Fast React, one of the key strengths of our system is the very visual visibilities, right? So planner will have their own planning boards, right? So if you have a planning team in sewing, you have a planning team even in the textiles, in the dyeing, they will have their own platform where they have very visual visibility of where their orders are planned. Then potential bottleneck, right? Potential bottlenecks or potential problem that may happen during the planning or when something has moved, when something has changed. The thing about this is every planning from different processes will be connected. Imagine if your knitting is delayed because yarn hasn't arrived. There will be there will be a warning to say your material is not going to arrive on time. What would happen? You need to move your knitting plan. When you move your knitting plan, your dyeing department will see, oh, my gray fabric is not going to be on time. What will happen next? My next bottleneck will be my cutting. My cutting cannot start cut on 3 weeks in 3 weeks time. I have to move my cutting plan. So there's a link in all this. So very visual visibility. And finally, it will show that you're going to be shipping your apparel late. So everything is connected. It's a knock-on effect from the first to the last. So there need to be some fixing, right? But again, in terms of visibility for the planner, is super good, right? It's very very good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the next question I have here, Peter, now that's a very
Yeah.
supply chain led question. What
Hmm.
planning capabilities are available to help manage peak season demand and short lead time textile orders? So I think that has something to do with the speed and season peak season demand.
Yeah. So again, you know, I can imagine, right, when it's a peak season or even when it's a new season coming in. I mean, you don't get 500 POs every day, right? You cannot get 500 POs, 1,000 POs every week. Sometimes you get in the early of the season when a new buy comes, So we do have automatic planning. Automatic planning, what does it help? It does help you to do different scenario planning in a very quick, short possible time. Because when buyer sends you on email, right, or 500 POs, normally you will take 3 days, 2 days to get back to your buyer and say, oh, I can accept all these orders, or can you give me an extension for these styles for a few weeks, right? So with this automatic planning that we can do, it will give you a very quick, confirmation to say that okay, you can plan all these orders. It's not going to be your final plan, but we can ensure that with this, with your available capacity, with your material availability, your lead time of your material, you're going to be planning on time. You can rightfully go and accept all these 500 POs very quickly, right? Within, I would say, sometimes you have to make some adjustments, so it may take, I don't know, 3, 4 hours for everything. The automatic planning itself will just take minutes, but you will have different scenarios, and then our system will give you all the information that you need within minutes. Yeah,
Yes. So another important question I think we have here that okay, Peter, let me answer this question. This is a very
sure,
very important
sure.
question.
Yeah.
So someone has written a scenario here. The question is, how are we allocating machines to minimize lead time in a textile world? Now, that's a very important question because right now, what we are doing, the capacity planning and everything, we focus mainly on the dyeing capacity or knitting capacity of that machine. We do not focus predominantly on the complexities or the requirement of that garment that we are going to produce. So fast rate plan will bring that change into our supply chain process where we are going to look into the other complexities also. It is not only what is the available machine we have. It's also about what the garment needs, what the fabric needs, and what is the most efficient way to plan it. Sometimes planning a small batch of a dark color is more efficient than planning a light color in a big vessel, right? I think all of the guys who has done dyeing planning has gone through this process. So the fundamental of fast rate plan is that we take accounts of the criticality of the singularity of those machines, the capacity of the machine, and also the post operation events. So it's all linked together with your swing. So we are also tracking the time it's needed for that. We also are tracking the importance and the time needed for your next operation after dying. So these things will be taken care before we plan a textile order. So
Mm.
Peter, I have a question for you now. Uh,
Yeah, sure.
I think the question is, like to know in Ocean Lanka case study how fast react implementation helped to reduce machine downtime as explained by the speaker. Want to take it? Or I can take it also.
You can take it probably because this is outside of my
Okay.
reach. I was not in. Yeah, you can
Okay.
take it.
Okay, sure. So machine downtime is a very common scenario in our textile world.
Mm.
And whenever a machine which is running non-stop continuously, there will be a downtime. So the idea is to not overburden a machine repeatedly without a visibility. Now, if I am planning something well advanced and I have a full visibility of occupancy of that machine, I have a full visibility of the load I am putting on that machine, and I am planning ahead with respect to that, as per Ocean Lanka, that helped them with reducing a lot of downtime for their machines, which they had before. So this is like a preventive mechanism. You are spreading out the risk across rather than putting one or two machines in that same cycle again and again.
Yeah.
Forecasting and anticipating your maintenance work is also part of a supply chain activities, which will help you not only in dyeing machines, this can even help you with your knitting machines. I'll
Mm.
take 1 minute because I think that's a very relevant example. So a very common thing in our market today we do that we keep changing the gauges.
Yeah.
Now, changing gauges is actually a necessary downtime. But for an example, if I have an exposure to my order list and I can continue a single machine for a longer period of time without changing the gauge, our efficiency will improve, right? But today, as we do not have the visibility and we have a lot of pressure from a lot of people, we change the gauge at the 12th hour to meet the delivery. So again, these are real life textile scenarios.
Yeah. Yeah, the same thing. I mean, not only to Ocean Langa, right? I've done quite a few textiles project where the textile, especially the knitting, factory manager were telling me, oh, this changing of gauges can take me 24 hours. Then he said again, oh, the next styles I will have to wait another 12 hours to change out the gauges. So then I was asking him, why are we not planning according to the gauges that we have? Do we have visibility of all this in advance? And then he said, no, I only know my plan for the next 1 week. So imagine having fast React, being able to plan in the next 3 months, 6 months, then you will be able to manage all this downtime. It will get reduced. It's not going to go away, right? But at least you can manage it better. I think that's the key.
Right, Peter. I think we
Okay.
are already we have taken already more time than we were allowed to.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for
Okay.
your
All right. So
questions or your attention and everything. Let's connect again, and please scan this QR to connect with us to ask for a demo. Or if you have any further question, you can email us also. We'll make sure these questions are answered. Thank you, everyone.
all right.
Peter,
Thank
any
you.
last
Thank you,
words?
everyone. Thank you. All right.
Bye bye. Bye,
Bye
guys. Take
bye.
care.
Bye all.